It is time for the Drew Yari Show. Drew Yari.
Hey, what's going on, guys? It is Friday. Another Friday episode of the podcast. It's just me tonight. Just a solo show. I told you guys I'd make it out to you, so I'm doing it. Kind of a busy news week, but not really. Just a lot of shit decided to happen today. Mainly a lot of releases. So, Bus Flip Part 3. Not as impactful as the last Bus Flip, but it's still Bus Flip, still something we have to cover. Actually, I wouldn't say big names, but just a lot of wrestlers. 11 people, according to, Sportskeeda, and a writer. A very well-known, I don't want to say well-known, but a writer that, I guess, put herself out to the public. I guess we're going to get into that right now. So, now former WWE writer Kenise Mobley, she was on a podcast, I'm forgetting what the name of it was laying on here. She said, I have just been hired by the WWE. They did not require me to know anything about wrestling. I am on the Raw team, so there's Raw and SmackDown, and the people I know that are on it are Bobby. His name is either Bobby Ashley or Bobby Lashley. I really should know that. He's like the giant black guy. He and the people who are part of his crew, I know that they call, or at least as of last year, they call themselves the Hurt Business. The Hurt Business. They wear suits and they're like, quote unquote, we're cool. End quote. So, this is from like what? I don't even think it was last week. This is the beginning of the week. So, this is kind of a double-edged sword because it's stupid on her to say that. Like, if she just said, hey, I work for the WWE, I'm learning on the job, blah, blah, blah. I wasn't the biggest wrestling fan growing up, but I'm learning, I'm becoming a fan while watching it. Okay, give the fake corporate answer to appease, not just, just the company. Because the people are still going to think you're full of shit. Because the WWE makes it very clear that they hire people that don't know anything about wrestling. The people who work in WWE, aside from like the road agents and the producers, and obviously the talent, are not wrestling people. Because CM Punk had said before that I think the head of financing for the company used to work for the Boston Celtics. So they hire people that don't know anything about wrestling, that don't know how to talk to wrestlers. They only know how to talk to athletes. Or, I guess, deal with shit on their own. Why WWE continues this, I don't know, because they still have it in their mind that... And there's a fucking roach in my room. God damn it. They still have it in their mind that they're a TV show. And yes, they're a TV show, but they're a wrestling show. They refuse to call themselves a wrestling show. They refuse to think of themselves as a wrestling show. Which is just like, okay, there's a ring, there's ropes, there's a turnbuckle, there's wrestlers in tights, and there's an entrance way, there's announcers. It's a wrestling show. But, again, they have it in their mind that they're not a wrestling show. I mean, because it was like over a decade ago, there was that whole, spiel where there was this website that was interviewing WWE or covering WWE, and they referred to them as a wrestling company, and WWE replied saying, we're not a wrestling company, we're an entertainment company. Like, they literally went out of their way to write these people, whoever the fuck they are, and say, we're not a wrestling company, we're an entertainment company. Which is just baffling. Same thing with Vince. Vince makes it very clear that he's not in the wrestling business. He was on Austin's podcast a while ago, and when Austin referred to him as a wrestling promoter, Vince was very adamant about letting him know, Steve, my dad was a wrestling promoter. I'm in the entertainment business. Which, I mean, we've said it before, and we said it again, Vince needs to go. But we've said that before, but if you're going to release anyone, release these writers. Just release these writers. The show sucks. SmackDown sucks. Raw sucks. I mean, Raw has sucked for the longest time. SmackDown's starting to get a little stale. Even NXT's starting to get a little sucky. The whole product just sucks. I was having this conversation with Monty, where we were just kind of comparing AEW to WWE. I'm like, both companies suck. It's just, I guess, people look at AEW as like it sucks, but at least it's entertaining because you can at least have fun with how bad it sucks. Whereas WWE is just so stale and there's no life in anything they do. It's just like you're painfully bored. It's like watching a 2.5 hour independent movie. Like that's how much it sucks. Pure boredom. Whereas AEW is like watching a really bad 1980s, B slasher movie. It's bad, but it's entertaining at least on how bad it is. But this is. I mean, she deserved to get fired, but at the same time, it's just shame on WWE for hiring these people and letting them know straight up, hey, we're not hiring wrestling people. We want entertainment people. We want people from Hollywood. We want TV writers, which, how do they not know that that's a bad idea? So, I don't know what this is going to do in the future. I doubt it. I doubt it's going to do anything in the future. I doubt it's going to make Vince want to hire wrestling people. Or not even really wrestling people, at least hire comic book people. But this is just not a good look. Wrestling people should be writing wrestling shows. They need to fire these Hollywood writers and let the producers, let the agents write the show. I mean, isn't that what was happening on SmackDown for a little bit? Daniel Bryan and Edge were writing SmackDown. That's why it was actually really good for a little bit. And supposedly, Raw was okay for a bit when Jason Jordan was producing the show. Just let the wrestling people write the show. Why is that so hard to do? But for Vince, it's just Vince needs to go. Vince needs to go. I've said it more than once. Vince needs to go. And also, again, I'm not the smartest. I may need to ask maybe someone like a John Draper about this, but WWE is a publicly traded company. If you're a publicly traded company, you have investors, you have people that are running the company for Vince. Yeah, he's the CEO, but you have people that are running the company for him, like Stephanie, like Triple H, maybe Shane. I don't know what Shane's saying. But you have other people who are running the show for him. Can't these people vote him out of being the head of the company? Can't they look at how bad the ratings are and how bad house show attendance has been and how bad merchandise has been? But to them, all they care about is they're making money. They just got that new deal with Peacock, so the only thing that matters is that they're making money in spite of themselves. They don't care that the product is dull. I think personally, in my opinion, the minute they stop making as much money, I think that's when there's going to be changes at the top. That's what's going to take for them to finally realize we need new leadership, is when they stop making as much money. Because that's all they care about. They don't even care about stocks. I would think stocks would matter. But apparently money matters. I mean, when those advertisements stop coming, when those endorsements stop coming, that's when they realize we need to make a change. I mean, it's just the company's just bad. I mean, look what they're doing to Karrion Kross already. You take away his entrance on Main Event. You take away Scarlett, who's the talk is that they're taking away Scarlett, and she's going to be a singles act on SmackDown, and Kross is going to be on Raw. Which, I guess it makes sense because that's the A show, quote unquote. And from what I heard, Vince likes Cross, but it's just like, why take away Scarlett? And again, Scarlett is talented. I mean, it's not like a Carmella or a Lana. Scarlett can actually talk. She has personality. She has charisma, and I've seen her work. She can work. She can hold her own, definitely. But why take away his entrance? I don't get it. He has the best entrance currently going in the company. I mean, maybe I'm overreacting. Maybe they're waiting for the crowds to come back so they can debut that entrance in front of a crowd and not just in front of LED screens. But I don't know. I'm already worried what they're going to do with Cross. I really am. I mean, they're probably going to call him Cross, or like Andrew Carlick on False Start Radio said, he's probably going to be Nikki Cross's big brother or something. Like he said, wait till I get my big brother. And then here comes Karen Cross, who's going to be like a superhero. If anyone doesn't know, Nikki Cross is now a superhero. She's, what is it, the Mighty Butterfly? Or the what the fuck is her name? The Butterfly. I don't know what the fuck it is. Wasn't the Mighty Butterfly a cartoon? That was a cartoon with Amy Poehler, I believe. But, yeah, the whole butterfly thing, I don't really care. I know people seem to dig it, and then there's people that hate it. I know Hurricane Helms wants to, put a stamp of approval on it. And I like Hurricane Helms, but it's just like, Hurricane Helms was 1 in a billion. That gimmick worked for him because Helms had the talent to back it up, and he had the charisma to back it up, and he believed in the gimmick. And then look what happened to him. He was in a feud with The Rock, which happened on accident. According to him, that gimmick happened on, or not that gimmick, that feud happened on accident. And then The Rock put him over. He beat The Rock on an episode of Monday Night Raw in Toronto. I remember that episode. I remember that match. And then Shawn Michaels happened. So, everything else about Raw, the Alexa Bliss thing, I'm really not a fan of. I know a lot of people, shockingly enough, a lot of people I know that I respect. Not to say that I respect them less, but it's just like, I would think they would hate this gimmick and really take it to task. They love this gimmick. Like, they think this gimmick is golden. And I'm just like, am I the only motherfucker that sees this? And it's just like, I know with Alexa Bliss, she can't wrestle. She's not a very good wrestler, so you need something for her. Because, yeah, she sells merchandise. Okay? Girls like her, guys like her. So, one thing I'll say, she at least has good facials to pull off the creepy, spooky, supernatural girl shtick. But other than that, I don't think the gimmick is good. I think it sucks. The whole evil sock puppet thing, I think, is completely stupid and lame. Poor Shayna Baszler. I watched Hell. I'm bouncing back and forth from each topic, so this is just what I'm going to do. So, I kind of watched Hell in the Cell. And what I mean by kind of is I was falling asleep. Because I had this thing in my head of like, am I really going to watch the pay-per-view? Because the match card looks kind of weak. Because they took Roman and Ray off the card, which me and Kevin Castle were going back and forth of what maybe the issue was. He likens it to maybe the company looked at the match and thought it was kind of a shitty match because Ray is not the Ray of old. Ray is old, but he certainly doesn't look it. But Ray is not the Rey Mysterio of yesteryear. He is not the Rey Mysterio of 2005, 2006. The guy is broken down and beaten. So, and then you look at Roman, and it's just like you knew there was no chance in hell Ray was going to win this match. This match just it was basically a Hell in a Cell that needed a match, and Roman beating the shit out of Dominic and powerbombing him out of the ring. This prompted the match. Supposedly, the rumor is that Roman wanted to be off on Father's Day. That was the talk. And I believe his wife already booked a vacation for Father's Day. And I guess that's why they put the match on Friday. I really don't know. But Roman needs a vacation. What can you say? It's kind of a pimp move. It's like, I can't work the pay-per-view because it's Father's Day. What do you mean, Roman? Well, I need Father's Day off because we're going on vacation. We're going to Samoa or someplace. All right. Well, let's put the match on Friday. Yeah. So the rest of the card is just not very good. It was just not a very good show from top to bottom. I mean, Zayn and Owens had a good match, but it's become one of those things where it's just like, I don't mind when those two have a match because they can go out there and work. Like that's the match you put on first in front of any house show or pay-per-view to really liven the crowd because those two can actually work. But it's become a thing of we know those two are going to have a good match. It's like when I watch Killing Me Softly with Dave Chappelle. It's like, I know I'm going to laugh. I'm still going to laugh. It's still going to hold up. But I already know the jokes. I already know about, driving in the ghetto and there's a baby sitting on the corner. I already know those jokes. I'm still going to laugh. They're so funny, but I already know them. So the effect is not going to be as great as the first two times. Or the first time, I mean. So that was probably the highlight of the night. Everything else, Bianca and Sasha, they're not Bianca and Sasha. Bianca and Bayley. I was obviously wrong about that being a main event, WrestleMania match because those two cannot seem to work together. I don't know what the issue is. In my opinion, it might have to do with the fact that Bianca sucks as a face and Bayley at this point sucks as a heel because they're just making her stupid. They're making her stupid and goofy. So Bayley needs to go back to being a face because we love Bayley. So she needs to be a face again. Bianca needs to be a heel. Because I was like, if your whole gimmick is that you're the EST, you're the best, you're the greatest, fastest, toughest, it's like, why are you bragging? Like, a good guy doesn't brag about himself. So she needs to be a heel, like ASAP. They need to find a way to make her a heel. Go the Becky Lynch route, because I know Becky Lynch is supposed to come back pretty soon. So have Becky come out and challenge Bianca, and then she beats her, and then Bianca challenges her for the title again at say SummerSlam, and she either wins in a very heelish way or Becky beats her again, but then Bianca just goes crazy and starts beating the shit out of Becky, and it makes her a heel because people love Becky. Because I can already tell when live crowds come back, they're going to boo the shit out of Bianca, and they're already having her do these stupid "when I was a little girl, I was bullied" promos, which I can't recall when anybody was ever bullied for being good at something. I don't recall that. I can recall being bullied because I wore very thick glasses, and I was quiet, and I kept to myself, and I liked things that weren't considered cool. I was bullied for that. I don't recall ever seeing football players in my high school being bullied because they threw a touchdown or were fucking somebody or were fucking the head cheerleader, the prom queen, whatever you want to call it. I don't recall that. So, why they're thinking that we should feel sympathy for somebody being good at something is just beyond me. I hate it. She needs to be a heel. She needs to be a heel. Plain and simple. Bayley needs to be a face. What were the other matches? Were there other matches? Yeah, Cesaro and Seth. And then Seth wins with a roll-up. Because I guess they're done with Cesaro. That lasted all of, what, a month and a half? Jesus. I mean, maybe they'll continue it. I don't know. But from the looks of it, I don't think so. I think Cesaro has had his time in the sun. And his gift for being, loyal and being a good boy is over. It's already run its course. It's expired. So, poor Cesaro. But I don't want to say poor Cesaro. Cesaro's going to do just fine. Yeah, he's making money. He's got a nice little house. He hasn't been released yet. I'm probably missing other matches. Rhea Ripley and Charlotte was bad. That was just bad. Bad match. Very bad match. Which is weird to say because you're saying Rhea Ripley and Charlotte, and you're saying bad match. They've really fucked up Rhea in a matter of moments. Because they still haven't explained who she is. I think that's the problem. We don't know what Rhea is supposed to be. We know what she was on NXT. We don't know what she's supposed to be on the main roster. And now they're both heels? I mean, Rhea, personally, to me, works better as a heel. Because she looks like a heel, she talks like a heel, and she works like a heel. So she's better as a heel. Charlotte can be a heel for the rest of her fucking career. I do not want to ever see her as a face again. She is a heel by nature. No pun intended. Or pun intended. So that match was just bad. And I hate the fact that it was bad. And we're getting a rematch at Money in the Bank. There's going to be crowds, so we'll see how that goes. Maybe they'll perform better when there's fans in. I'm trying to think of other matches that were on the card besides the main event. I want to pull up the match card, but I'm too lazy. Was there an Intercontinental title match? No. Was there a U.S. title match? No. I guess fuck it, we'll just go to the main event. So the main event was Drew McIntyre versus Bobby Lashley for the WWE title. Hell in a Cell. A last chance match. If Drew lost, then he would no longer get a shot at the WWE title. I guess as long as Bobby Lashley is the champion, or when Drew gets drafted to SmackDown, which I'm guessing that's how it's going to go. And again, the match wasn't bad. I mean, because these two have good chemistry. These two can go out there and have a good match. It was just too fucking long. It was unbearably long. And the last spot where Lashley, I don't know if that's a choke slam or whatever the hell that he does, where he slams Drew through the table and you see that mysterious hand under the ring just like start pushing things apart. I'm just like, that was too funny. That was funny. And Lashley wins with a roll-up. The dominance, the almighty Bobby Lashley, wins a Hell in a Cell match with a roll-up? I mean, he couldn't win with a spear. I mean, I get it. MVP had to distract him because, at the end of the day, heels aren't going to play fair and square. But it's like, you win with a roll-up? You don't win with a spear. You don't win with the Hurt Lock or the Dominator. I haven't seen him do a Dominator in a while. But you win with a roll-up? Hell in a Cell main event ends with a roll-up. That's Hell in a Cell for you folks. That was a lot of Hell in the Cell. A lot of Hell in the Cell for the next 72 hours? Because the very next night of Raw, they had a Hell in a Cell match at the end of Raw, which was Bobby Lashley versus Xavier Woods. And I didn't watch the show, but it ends with Kofi Kingston getting a title match at Money in the Bank. So we're getting Kofi versus Bobby. So see how that goes. Money in the Bank is going to be the first big WWE pay-per-view since Mania with the crowd back. This is where the crowds are going to be officially back. It's going to be in Fort Worth, Texas. I was trying to look for tickets, but the cheapest tickets are $2,000. or not even 2,000. I think they're 200. So I was just like, yeah, I'm good on that. I was willing to take a road trip for that, but since it's all the prices, I'm like, nah, I'm good. Yeah, we'll chill on the tickets. Was it July 16th is when crowds officially come back. That's going to be when they start go back on the road. It's going to be in Houston, July 16th, the day before my birthday, actually. And it's going to be a SmackDown, so that should be huge. And they announced, I believe it was September 10th, they're going to be returning to Madison Square Garden. That's going to be a Friday, so that's going to be a SmackDown as well. So we look forward to that. July is, the big month for wrestling because that's when crowds come back. Not just for WWE, AEW. Well, AEW already got crowds back. That's when wrestling goes back on the road officially. AEW, I believe they're going to be going back on the road at the beginning of the month. And then WWE, July 16th. MLW will be heading back to, the 2300 Arena, I believe it's called. Well, where they'll be, having fans back, which MLW, a company like MLW needs fans. They need fans. So I'm glad for them. Ring of Honor is getting fans back. They're going to be going back on the road pretty soon. Good for them. I know Impact Wrestling, they're getting their fans back, quote unquote, for their first big pay-per-view, which is going to be on my birthday, July 17th. Was it Slammiversary? So I might just watch that. Maybe. We'll see. Maybe. Big name. What other companies are going back? I know indie companies are already bringing fans back, so good for the indies. I'm happy that the indies are getting fans back. Because the indies are important to wrestling. Whether people want to admit it or not, they're very important to wrestling. What else can we talk about besides the releases? I want to save the releases for last. Bronson Reed, along with Kuros, but had a tryout match on Raw, and it was on main event. He wrestled Drew Gulak, so we're getting ready for those guys to debut. So for NXT, I kind of half watch it, and I didn't watch it. I was recording something for somebody. Well, I'm not going to say who. I'm not going to say what it is. I was recording something for somebody, which you will find out very soon. So I missed the main event, which was Kyle O'Reilly versus Kushida, which I heard was a good match. Which I'm not going to deny that because you got Kyle O'Reilly and Kushida. That's, there's no doubt that's going to be a great match. And then Diamond Mine made their debut, which for months, Diamond Mine, the promos were that it was this new MMA group. Or, the idea was that it might have been Tessa Blanchard, which I doubt it was Tessa Blanchard because it wouldn't really make sense if it was. But the idea was like this is going to be this new badass MMA group. Or it might be another takeoff of Raw Underground. So out comes what the hell's his name? Roderick Strong, Tyler Rust, and the other guy I'm blanking on, with Malcolm Gibbons. And I like Malcolm Gibbons. I think he's great. But you debut a new faction with Kyle O'Reilly. Kyle O'Reilly, who's, I've said before, he looks like Ryan Reynolds' less talented brother. He looks like Ryan Reynolds, but he's not as talented or charismatic as Ryan Reynolds. If Ryan Reynolds was in charge of the group, I'd probably watch it, but unfortunately he's not. You got Roderick Strong, or Roderick Reynolds, or whatever you call him, but oh boy. And I hate to shit on Roderick Strong, because Roderick Strong's a San Antonio boy. So, I don't hate Roderick Strong. I think he's very talented. He's a guy that if you put him in any era, or maybe not in any era, but you put him in New Japan, you put him in Ring of Honor, you put him in, the 1990s Cruiserweights in WCW, Like, he's considered an internet dog by a lot of people. He can go out there and have a great match with anybody. But the guy has the personality of a dead dog. Like, the guy is just... He sucks. Personality-wise, he sucks. In the ring, he's great. But it's just like, you wish some of that talent he has in the ring would transfer to like him having a personality or charisma, which unfortunately doesn't. So, and to my knowledge, didn't he quit NXT? Like, wasn't he leaving with his wife and saying, I'm putting in my papers, I'm leaving? And then he comes back and put in charge of a new faction? So, hopefully Malcolm is the one doing the talking and not Roderick Strong. But I'm already not liking this game. I'm already not liking it. I think it's probably... not probably, but it just looks stupid as hell. And, I mean, that's really about it. That's really the only noteworthy thing I have on NXT. Like I said, I was kind of half watching NXT. I'll probably watch the main event if I have time to. But, that's NXT. I guess, yeah, let's get to the releases already. Sorry about that. So, what is this? The Sportskeeda has already listed the releases just not too long ago. Sean Ross Sapp, who I like, I actually trust his opinion more than most people. He said Fightful has been told that Tino Sabatelli has been released by WWE. I have no idea who that is. So, there's already one. First release, we're just counting down from 11. Arya Daivari, who is the brother of Sean Daivari, who's a producer for the WWE. I guess this made sense because the guy was never really on the show. The only time I watched him was in the Cruiserweight Classic. And, I support him because he's Iranian. I gotta support my fellow Iranians, so it's understandable. Yeah, he wasn't really... Again, if you don't really add anything to the show, you're gonna get released. I mean, this is gonna pain me to say. And this might even be the end of Drew Yari as we know it. Baron Corbin adds something to the show. Baron Corbin at least adds something to the show. At least. That is the only time you'll ever hear me compliment Baron Corbin. Sean Daivari never added anything to the show. Not even to 205 Live. And I don't even think there's even going to be a 205 Live pretty soon. But then he put out a tweet. I was really enjoying what Tony Nese and I were doing as a tag team in 205. Every single time we worked as hard as possible. Despite the show not being highly positioned, that's what professionals do. And that's what we'll continue to do. End quote. Am I supposed to click on the next page? Oh, I guess I was. Next release. Tony Nese, former Cruiserweight Champion. He put up something saying, "Welp." And then he puts a new tweet. "Thank you, everyone. I don't care how unwatched and underappreciated 205 was. I busted my ass every single time I stepped foot in the ring, doing whatever was asking any questions asked. Can't wait to be that type of employee for someone else." ... AEW though. I don't even know if they'll want him. He seems like he'd be good for maybe like Impact. A lot of these guys seems like they might go to Impact. A lot of them. Maybe not all of them, but a lot. But yeah, Tony Nese, great physical specimen. Boring as hell to watch. So next one. This one kind of bummed me out. Everrise. I liked Everrise. I really liked them. They're starting to grow on me. So I know the joke about them. Sorry about that, people from my throat. I know the joke about them was that we'd refer to them as great value young bucks. But Everrise, I think, were a lot more entertaining and a lot more charismatic than the young bucks. And I liked their show that they did because I don't know. I'm a fan of that dry kind of cynical sense of humor, and I like what they were doing. I like the bit they were doing with Karrion Kross. I thought it was funny. Yeah, look that up. It's pretty funny. But I like them. I was wishing that they got a higher spot on the card because they were featured a lot more prominently. But yeah, this kind of buzzed me up because I was starting to like them. They were starting to win me up. But fortunately, they're gone. So sucks for them. Matt Martell, and Chase Parker. Bunch of Canadians. Another tag team that I'm kind of sad to see go. Fandango. Or they're not listing as a tag team. Fandango, one half of Breezango, which we'll get to Tyler Breeze. Fandango has been in the company for 14 years. Which is pretty crazy to think about because what's his real name? Johnny Curtis? What's his actual name? Johnny Curtis, there you go. I liked Fandango. I mean, I liked him in the beginning, doing the whole do. Like he was getting over. The crowd was chanting his shit. When the crowd chants your shit, you're over. I mean, they're not just chanting it to be dicks or to be, ironic. They're chanting it because they fucking like it. I mean, they did everything with this guy. I think the one thing that really stood in his way was the guy just was always getting hurt. Because what happened? He had his WrestleMania debut against Jericho, and he beat Jericho clean. And then he ended up getting hurt again. They put him in NXT, and then they reunite him with Tyler Breeze. And he ends up getting hurt. I think he got hurt, twice? So I think a lot of that comes into play. If you can't stay healthy, then there's really not a lot they can do for you. But I mean, it's unfortunate. Again, I like Fandango. He's talented. He's going to get work somewhere. He's either going to get indie bookings or he's going to get signed by Impact or AEW. Personally, a lot of people are thinking I'm crazy for saying this. I think you should go to Impact. Because there's already enough people in AEW. And the roster's already thick as hell. And there's already too many ex-WWE guys. So go to Impact and make that company better. I'm not saying that Johnny Curtis is going to light the world on fire. I'm saying let him go to Impact and make it Impact. No pun intended. Let him show a side of him that we never seen before. Let him, show a wrestling side of him that we never seen before. I want to see this guy succeed because I like him. And then we're going to the half of Breezango, Tyler Breeze, which, again, another one I'm bummed out because I like Tyler Breeze. I mean, the first NXT show I went to with my girl, the main event was Tyler Breeze versus Finn Balor. That's when Tyler Breeze was doing his, male model thing and he had the selfie stick. I like Tyler Breeze. I thought he was talented as hell. I mean, I think the one thing that maybe got in his way was that he wasn't 6'2". I think if he was 6'2", he would have maybe had a longer shelf life on the main roster. But as soon as they put him on that main roster, they already jobbed him out. I mean, the best thing that happened for him was forming a tag team with Fandango and being Breezango. And, those skits were funny as shit. The, Fashion Police stuff. I always liked it. And I don't mean to sound like I'm being sympathetic for somebody I don't know, but it's just like, I gotta imagine Xavier Woods is pissed off because that's his boy. And they were having a thing going on up, down, down, where was it, what the fuck's his name? We're just fucking talking about Tyler Breeze decided to start his own channel called Left Right, and they had a good thing going, and now he's gone. Now his boy is gone. So I mean, I don't know if maybe he needs permission to put him on the show, but that sucks. I mean, that sucks for Woods, losing his boy. So I mean, WWE better empty out their bank accounts to make sure they keep Xavier Woods happy. They better make sure they keep him happy because I wouldn't be surprised if Woods just went fuck this and leaves. I wouldn't be surprised. Says you fired my boy, and we already had a show going on YouTube, a show that makes you guys money, a show that gets you guys noticed, and you fired him. So fuck it. I wouldn't be surprised if Xavier Woods just says fuck it and leaves after his 6 months run. So good for Woods. Woods has a lot more talent. he has a lot of shit going on besides wrestling. You know, he already has was it a G4 kid, and the guy's a smart motherfucker. He's already getting his masters, so good for him. But yeah, Tyler Breeze. You know, just I hope he gets worse, which he will. I can see him going to. I can see him going to maybe Ring of Honor and being something like that. I can see him maybe going to. I don't know about New Japan because I can't see him working at New Japan. So maybe Ring of Honor or Impact. We need more guys on Impact to make that show interesting to watch. Next one is a fairly new WWE sighting, August Gray. I was trying to remember who the fuck this guy was, and I remembered he was the guy that was in Thatcher's, Thatch Can, whatever you call it. Whatever you want to call it, wrestling, where he attacked Thatcher and then he wrestled him for one match. And that's it. So, I can't really say anything about him. Apparently he's having a loser leaves 205 match. Or a loser leaves town match against whoever the fuck that is. Some silver haired guy. Next is the Singh brothers, who were with Jinder Mahal. Again, I didn't hate them. They did their job. Whenever you do your job and you do it well, fine with me. I mean, one of those motherfuckers took that bump like he was he was trying to convince us that he was dead. After Randy Orton did that on was it Backlash of 2017? If you guys remember that, when Randy Orton just threw the guy up on the announce table and he looked like he was dead, and then Randy Orton's just like, oh, maybe I put a little bit too much mustard on that. But the Bollywood boys, good for them. Good for them. They earned their paycheck and they did their job. So I hope they find it. Marina Shafir. Isn't that Roderick Strong's woman? Yeah, that's Roderick Strong's woman. Yeah, she was in the group with Shayna Baszler, and now she's married to Roderick Strong. So, such for Roderick Strong. It's he just got his own he just returned to TV and got his own faction. Now his wife's fired. I mean, they weren't really doing anything with her. I mean, after Shayna went to the main roster, they did nothing with her. Or maybe she asked for a release. I don't know. But next, we got Kurt Stallion. I only remember him from one match, and that was against Escobar. And I remember thinking to myself, this guy's on 205 Live. This guy should be, I don't know, mid-carder? But I don't know. What do I know? But yeah, he's gone. Can't really say too much about him, because I never really saw him work that much. Former standing member Killian Dane. Wow, Killian Dane. Again, another guy, a guy that I liked, because he's a guy they really could have done something with, because, again, another big guy who can move around, but he didn't do stupid shit. He wasn't doing Keith Lee stuff where he was doing, backflips or, suicide, dive, Saito, 360, thingamajiggers. No, he worked smart for a big guy. He kind of worked like Bam Bam Bigelow. Somewhat. And I liked his style. I didn't like the tag team with Drake. I just thought it was stupid. I was interested to see what they were going to do with him and Imperium. They were going to put him in Imperium. I thought that would have been interesting. But he's gone. And he's married to Nikki Cross. So even couples weren't safe. And now the fucked up part thing about it is now Nikki Cross is the only surviving member of Sanity. Everybody's gone. Everybody's gone. Eric Wolf is... Oh, not Eric Wolf. Well, Eric Wolf is gone. I was going to say Eric Young and then Killian Dane. All these motherfuckers are gone, except for Nikki Cross, who is now a superhero. I'm pretty sure Killian Dane was just fine. And then former Raw Underground star Arturo Ruiz. So yeah, those are all the those are all the releases. I don't know who this guy is who Arturo Ruiz is. Hey, it sucks when anyone has to lose their job, but it's like I mentioned. If there's really, I mean, I'm fucking my words. If there's really nothing you're contributing to the show, why do we need to keep it? It's like I mentioned before, and I hate to even say it again. At least Baron Corbin adds something to the show. Everybody that you see featured prominently on the show is at least doing something. These guys were not doing anything. And, I don't blame Vince or, who is it, Nick? Not Nick Khan. Is it Nick Khan? Apparently Nick Khan was in charge of all this. Like, he pretty much said, I'm going to take the heat for this. I'm going to release these guys whether they like it or not. I'm not going to take pity on couples. And you look at the rest of the roster and you're like, why does Dana Brooke still have a job? Why does Carmella still have a job? Why does... I don't know. There's a lot more people I think he could have released, but that's just my opinion. But more sad news. Well, I don't really like talking about that, but Melissa Coates, she passed away, I believe, yesterday. Just rest in peace to her, rest in power to her. I'll be honest, I don't really knew as much as I did about her through Kevin Castle and Andrew Carlick. I know Andrew Carlick had a nice little memorial for her. Bailey had said that she had her first ever wrestling match against Melissa Coates, and then she always stayed in contact with her. So, I mean, she seemed like she was very well liked by everybody in the wrestling business. Like, nobody really had a bad thing to say about her. Breaking the Pocket was talking about Shaheen. Shaheen seemed like he knew her pretty well. She was married to Sabu, and Sabu just can't imagine what he feels. Can't really imagine what he feels. So, condolences to Sabu, if he ever hears this. It sucks. It sucks losing somebody that means the world to you. So, just R.I.P. to Melissa Coates. I guess we're done with wrestling news. I guess the big trailer that dropped, ended on this, was the Halloween Kills trailer. I just did a reaction to it. It's on my YouTube page. And it's, if anyone doesn't know how they're doing the Halloween movies, so back in 2018 they did a sequel / reboot, whatever you want to call it. It's supposed to be a direct sequel from the first one. So this movie negates everything that happened after the first Halloween. So in this movie, Michael Myers has been locked up in an insane asylum for 40 years. Just waiting to bust out, waiting for that right opportunity. So he gets out and causes all kinds of mayhem and wreckage. I liked it. It seemed like a lot of people didn't like it. And on my video, I had elaborated that a lot of people didn't like it because they thought it was too SJW-y, which I'm just like, am I missing something here? Like, how's it SJW? I don't get it. But this is a sequel, which is basically taking place after what happened in the last movie. Spoilers, which, Jamie Lee Curtis and her granddaughter, leave Michael Myers in a burning house, which is actually Jamie Lee Curtis's house. Well, not her actual house, but Laurie Strode's house. And the trailer begins with, firefighters coming and put down the fire, and Jamie Lee Curtis is, screaming, yelling, no, let it burn, let it burn. And then Michael Myers walking out like a boss out of a burning house, has a fucking pickaxe, and just starts fucking just annihilating motherfuckers. He takes out an entire fire squadron, an entire fire crew, and I'm like, that's gonna be the beginning of the movie. So the trailer, I have to say, one negative is that they show too much. But then again, for all I know, that can be like maybe the first 10 to 15 minutes. And there's a lot more that we're gonna see that we didn't see in the trailer. And then he kills this random old couple, which he takes a light tube and just like fucking stabs his bitch in the neck with it. He basically, goes fucking, what is it, GCW Nick Gage on this old bitch. Like, he does not give a fuck. Like, he doesn't kill children. I know he doesn't kill children. Or maybe he wants to kill children and he doesn't kill children. But everybody else, he does not give a fuck. They're fair game. One thing I think is interesting is that in the trailer, it shows the whole town, ganging up together to say, we need to take down this motherfucker. I think that's interesting. Because there's a part in it where they're yelling, take back the night, take back the night, which I think is a good play on words. Because if I'm not mistaken, someone can correct me on this if they want to. Take back the night was a way of going after predators that were stalking and harassing and assaulting women at night. And I'm not sure where it came from, but I just know that's kind of like the origins. This is kind of like the same, Michael Myers is a predator that's stalking and harassing and assaulting people and killing people, mind you. So they want to take back the night. They want to take back their city. So I think that's interesting, but I also think it's kind of funny because Michael Myers looks at it and goes, oh, you humans. Go ahead and try. He's going to pick his motherfuckers off one by one. Like, I want to find... I want to make a meme with that Stephen A. Smith face, where it's just like, the entire town of Haddonfield is yelling, take back the night, and it's just Stephen A. Smith making that face like he just looks bored and unimpressed. Like, I want to make that meme. It's a B show, Brian. But it looks fucking good. They do not skim on the violence. There's going to be a shit ton of violence. It looks good. I want to see it. Comes out in October. They haven't said when. I'm assuming, if I had to guess, if I had to put all my money into one barrel, I would say maybe the week of Halloween. Because usually they'll at least announce a date. Because all they're saying is October. But if they're smart, book it the week of Halloween. Or, this is bold, I'm going to be bold here, Halloween Day. That's a license to print money. Halloween Day. I mean, that can be a way to keep people off the streets. Keep the wackos out the street. Put the wackos in the movie theater. But I'm waiting for that movie to come out because Halloween, I think, is a lot better than a lot of the other reboots that have come out. The Nightmare on Elm Street reboot, I personally liked. I didn't hate, but a lot of people didn't like it, and I can see why. Because they made it too dull, and there was really no personality or substance to it. So, the Friday the 13th remake, I didn't think was all that bad, and they were supposed to make a trilogy out of it. But something happened, and they just didn't. And then they're doing a Hellraiser remake, which I'm not really a Hellraiser fan, so I can't really speak too much on it. And they tried doing that with Chucky, with the Mark Hamill one, Aubrey Plaza as the mom, and I love Aubrey Plaza. Don't get me wrong, but that can't save me. Not even Mark Hamill can save that movie from me. But Halloween seems like a simple, easy concept because you need a story and you need tension. That's what makes Halloween a great horror movie is tension. As soon as you hear that theme, that dun, 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 like you're already ready to run because you already know what's coming. Like you're fucking speed walking, or not even speed. You're fucking running, and Michael Myers is right behind you, speed walking. Like he's that guy you see. She's that guy you see in the neighborhood with a headband on and fucking wristbands, and he sees like large, earphones, and he's just like, and he just has his knife out, like, I'm ready to kill you. I'm ready to kill you. And then conveniently you trip over something and twist your ankle, and he just comes over and just like, nyeh, right in the eye, right in the daggum eye. But yeah, Michael Myers, I think out of all the the Trinity, the horror movie Trinity between Freddy Krueger, Jason Voorhees, and Michael Myers, I gotta go with Michael Myers, hands down. He's simple. He's simple. He's the boogeyman. He's creative in how he kills people. All he needs is a knife. He can use his bare hands. He can use a rope. He can use chains. He can use anything. And the best thing about this version of Halloween is that it's almost what you don't see is more terrifying. Because in the not the Freddy Krueger, the Rob Zombie remakes, they tried to show too much. And I can kind of get where they were coming from, because they were trying to be like, let's look at Michael's past. He was a hillbilly. He came from a broken home. It's like, that takes away from the mystique, though. It kind of makes him seem like a little bitch. I don't want Michael Myers to be a little bitch. I want Michael Myers to be killing bitches. That's what I want to see Michael Myers do. I don't care about Michael Myers' backstory. I mean, if you want to tell it, cool. I don't want to see it. Because I don't want to feel sorry for Michael Myers. I don't. God damn, I keep having to clear my throat every 5 minutes. But, anyways, that's the show. I said on Discord, anyone who listens to the show, I'm shutting down the Discord channel, just personal reasons. That's all I'm going to say. I'm shutting it down at the end of the week, just sticking strictly to pre-record. And that's about it. I mean, you can still find me anywhere. You can still find me on Spreaker. You can still find me on Patreon, YouTube, of course. Anywhere. Yeah, subscribe to the Patreon. Show us some love. Just $5 a month. You get all kinds of great shows, non-wrestling related, with me, guys, with people like me, of course, who runs it. RJ, of course, who's having a birthday this Sunday. So happy early birthday to RJ if you're listening. My brother from another mother. And then Ruben Prime, who we need to do a show soon, like ASAP. And Jeff Lipman. Jeff the Lippity Lip 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 Lipman. How does John Draper do that? Shit. So I was on his show recently, Garden of Doom, so look at it to drop pretty soon. Yeah. So subscribe to the Patreon. Just $5 a month, people. I'm not gonna beg you. Unless you want me to beg. I'll beg. $5 a month, people. Come on, it's just $5. You will not find that deal anywhere else. It's $5. But shout outs to everybody, of course, Wrestling Soup, Kevin Castle, Shrez. Kevin Castle's mainstream show. He's back in the mainstream with Baseball Chicky. Well, I'm not going to say her actual name. But it's called Castle and Chicky's Podcast Adventures, which you can find on the Rational Rage Network. It's a non-wrestling show. They just talk about pop culture and just pretty much whatever the fuck they want. So give them a listen. It's a pretty good show. I mean, I haven't listened to it. I just heard it's pretty good. Of course I've listened to it. It's a great show. Listen to it. Ruben Prime, like I mentioned, you can find his show anywhere. You can find it on Spotify. Even has his own website. RJ and the Brooklyn Savages. You can find them pretty much anywhere. You can find them on Google Play. You can find them on Spotify. Brother Monty, of course. You can find his podcast anywhere. Good dude. Another guy I love to death. Let's see. Texas Podcast Massacre, of course, for all the horror fans out there. And let's see. Am I forgetting something else? Wrestling Court. Julian, Cannon, and Rob. Of course, Fall Scout Radio with Andrew Carlick. Another good friend of mine. Breaking the Apocalypse with John Draper and B. Show Brian Shaheen of Nuclear Heat Graphics. If you need artwork done, get a hold of Shaheen. He's your boy. He's great at what he does. He's hooked me up with a lot of artwork on the show over the years. So support my boy Shaheen and support Breaking the Apocalypse on their Patreon for just $5 a month. The Clark Street Wrestling Podcast. I gotta support those dudes. There's some good dudes. Listen to them. They have a great podcast. I think it's a great podcast. I'm not just saying it because I'm not just saying it because I like them. I'm saying it because it's the truth. They're good dudes. So listen to it. It's a really good podcast. Jeff Lipman. How can I forget Jeff Lipman? I mean, it's easy to forget Jeff Lipman, but Jeff Lipman. Jeff knows I like him. Jeff Lipman with his 1,000 shows. Garden of Doom, Hammerlock Hangover, Unpopular Review. He doesn't. I mean, we do a show on Patreon. It's called From My Lips, LIPPS to Your Ears. He has a bunch of other shows out there. And that is it. Shout to everybody that has a podcast. Shout to everybody who supports this podcast. So, I'll be back next week. Next week is the new recording schedule, where there really is no set date, personally. I kind of like doing these Friday shows. They're a lot easier, in my opinion, but this week, me and the missus will be celebrating our 9-year anniversary. I'm having the next 4 days off, a 4-day weekend. Can't wait for it. So anyways, guys, take care. Much love. Support the Patreon, support the show, support everybody else's show. And laters. Peace.
The Drew Yari Show.
It's Drew Yari. It's Drew Yari.
The Drew Yari Show.
It's Drew Yari. It's Drew Yari.
The Drew Yari Show.
It's Drew Yari.
The Drew Yari Show.
It's Drew Yari.
The Drew Yari Show.